There is a podcast about an island in the North Atlantic where people have been looking for an incredible treasure for more than 200 years.
Hello, welcome back to Could It Be, an Oak Island podcast. We are your hosts. I am Deidre White.
Hi, and I'm Dustin White.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing today?
Not too shabby. How about you?
My back's still not 100%. I'm laying down to record this podcast as well.
Yet again.
Yeah, but we have a lot of exciting things to talk about. The thing that I've been looking most forward to, the 90-foot stone, was a big deal this week.
It sure was, so we'll see a bit more about that, which is exciting. The team's reaction was a little lackluster.
You think so? I don't know, I think they were excited about it.
We'll dive into it a little bit deeper. We've also got some things to talk about one of my favorite places, Smith's Cove. I haven't been on the boards much this week, but I hear some people are unhappy.
Yeah, a lot of people are not so pleased with Irving Equipment Limited. I'm not one of them. I think they're fine doing what they did.
Oh, I have an opinion.
Oh, I know you do.
I always do. Okay, so great show. We start off seeing Rick and Marty. Well, Rick is speaking with Marty via video conference because Marty's not back out to the island yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting that they have this conversation like they've never talked about it before. The fact that they need to do something about washing the spoils and being able to sort
Yeah, I just thought of that.
Oh, yeah, I just thought of that. Oh, I happened to see something on Craigslist that might help us. Yeah, I'm sure you've never had this conversation before. Well, they met a couple of guys out at the rock quarry later to take a look at the equipment, but Rick instantly says, yep, thumbs up. It's just too painstakingly difficult. We see my favorite flash of them hand washing the spoils, and Jack is a completely different color.
Yeah, he's just caked in mud.
Oh, that gets me every time.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know. Maybe it's just his bald head just being caked in mud. You know, that's funny.
It's like this grayish green color.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, it's like good on you finding something to figure it out. And really, they should have had one of these probably a long time ago.
Yeah, it probably would have helped Jack out, but...
And Gary.
Yeah, and Gary. But I don't know. Like, they seem super excited about it. I'm glad that they are. I don't know. It just seems like they're going to be seeing less of the spoils.
No.
And, you know, like human bones can't be detected by metal detectors. So,
No,
you know.
but the size of what gets sorted out, it'll still go into that size of stuff, the human bones. It won't liquefy. So they'll still see all
No,
that.
I'm not saying it's going to liquefy. I'm just saying the stuff will be kind of put out on the ground, and then what's supposed to happen at that point is Gary will take a metal detector over it, and there's no chance that every piece of that's going to be looked at really closely. So how would we find human bones and things like that going forward, or the pottery or whatever?
I have no doubt that they will be searching those spoils beyond just metal detecting, but at least Gary will be able to get in there real quick and pull out metal right away, and then they can pull out other stuff as well. I mean, the pottery is very important culturally, so they don't want to miss any of that.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like they're going to be looking at it less to me from the outside looking in, so I don't know. Hopefully they prove that wrong, and that's not a thing we should be worried about.
I'm not worried about it, so that's okay. Good old Smith's Cove.
Yeah, well, you're worried about the holes in Smith's Cove, and I'm not as worried about them.
I'm not
The
as
leaks.
worried about them now, but I'm very worried about how they were handled.
Okay, so Smith's Cove, they were driving in the last pylon. They were, about 17, 18 feet deep, and that's like up on shore.
Yeah,
So this thing is pretty well sealed off.
obviously not.
Well, what did Craig say at one point? There's like 30 leaks and 6 or 7 that they'd call major leaks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they called Irving, said, hey, this is the problem. We didn't get the whole entirety of their conversation, but the guy from Irving said, hey, you can, and for the time being, you could go and use some silicone sealant and patch up those holes. And then they also said, which everybody seems to be forgetting, we'll send some people down there to take a look at it. You know how far away their office is from Oak Island?
Okay.
It's more than a 4-hour drive.
This guy did not provide enough sense of urgency. When you make a phone call like that and you have spent that much money and someone says that they'll, see what the availability is to get out there, it should really, his tone be more of a, oh, wow, yeah, that's a concern. Let's go ahead and make sure we've got this taken care of. It's how that phone call was handled. If it was me on the other side making that phone call, I'd be upset about what the professionalism was like coming across to me.
Okay, well,
They
Rick?
knew they wanted a watertight seal. They should have probably disclosed that you're going to have to provide some caulking to get that.
Potentially.
He said this is typical.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they probably knew that going into it. And they called them. They said, okay, this is what you need to do. When the tide is out, seal it up, and we will come and take a look at it and see what we can do to help you. What's wrong? There's nothing wrong with that.
If they knew that going into it, I don't think they would have freaked out about the leaks instantly.
You know what? It's a TV show.
Yeah.
They have to have drama. Mm-hmm. So they make
have
something
to have-
small into something big and say, I don't think it's that big of a deal. They've obviously done work and, excavating and exposed U-shaped structure, which will be probably next week or the following week. We'll get to see it finally. They've done it. It's not like
Now.
it's not like it's a thing that they're not going to get to.
Oh, they're going to get to it. I still am not thrilled with how that was handled on that end. So we can agree to disagree here.
I think it was fine.
That's good. I'm glad you think it's
Lots of
okay. I don't think they should have had to run to Home Depot to get silicone and try to plug them during low tide. I do like that they sent the two youngest guys out there to do it, though.
the guys with the nice strong backs that it's not that big of a deal to go do a little bit of hard labor, right?
That's not you anymore.
That's not me anymore now.
You used to be the guy they sent out to do caulking.
I would have, I guess.
Anyways, they do talk about the fact that they're going to, even before we saw these leaks, they mentioned just like a sump pump, they're going to have 2 pumps running in order to drain out the water that's underneath the surface and sitting in the cove. What they say, 18 hours a day?
15.
15 hours a day, 2 pumps running, which makes perfect sense. We knew they'd have to have pumps running. It's just like a house where you have to have a sump pump underneath because water tables are high. Obviously, you're going to have a higher water table when you are in the middle of the water. So that's
island.
to be expected, but
Yeah, well, the guy from Irving also told them that they're going to need to dig a long trench that will collect additional water, and so it could be pumped out to keep the rest of it dry.
well, they're going to have to dig a trench around the inside of the dam, and that way the water collects, then they can pump the water out the other way, because now they're saying after the caulking was done that water is coming in, you have more water coming in from the other side. Yes, that makes sense, but having water coming in from the side that you just spent, $1 million on, kind of upsetting. But I'll stop writing on that. So, anyways.
I think they're going to be pleased with the end result. They're going to get their excavations done, and they're going to make a good TV show for all of us.
All I'm saying is I hope they got credit back on their invoice for all that silicone they had to go and buy, because trust me, you go through those tubes very quickly.
Okay, well, whoopee.
I'm glad you're over it. Anywho, so
It did make for some funny memes on the message boards and stuff with the Flex Seal.
Oh, I really wish they would have just tried the Flex Seal, or I don't know. I kind of really wanted them to after the commercials.
Yeah, I probably saw at least 20 to 30 of those.
Well, that's what we all thought of instantly. Mm-hmm. Where's the tape?
Mm-hmm. Hey, it could fix a boat.
Right?
Right? That's on the commercial. They cut a boat in half, fix it with this Flex Seal tape, and then the boat's on the water with no leaks.
Yeah, I wonder how long that stuff takes to set, though.
I guarantee it's not made for the pressures of holding back a large body of water.
I don't know. It was on a boat. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, well, if they put it on the outside, maybe it would work just like the silicone.
I don't know. That's to be debated.
Yeah, well.
Another podcast.
Or another season. Maybe they'll do that next season. They'll have realized the missed opportunity for the promotional whatever. They could have Oak Island on the infomercial, and I don't know.
Good try.
Yeah, good try.
So, interpretive center. We have Paul, Charles, and Jack dragging in this big stone.
Yeah, this big hunk of rock that's somewhat significant, or something that Fred Nolan found, right?
Yes, Fred Nolan had found it on his property. He had believed that it pointed towards the swamp potentially, but he definitely put significance on it as a survey marker when he was doing the surveys.
Mm-hmm. But they kind of just yada-yada'd that and went to start talking about the 90-foot stone.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad it's getting put here next to the 90-foot stone. And we're like, yeah, that's not the 90-foot stone.
Yeah, it's so funny that they still show that in the opening credits as, like, the 90-foot stone is this 2 feet wide, like 2-inch thick slab. Doesn't
even fit the descriptions that we have of it.
Well, I mean, it's just a mock-up of whatever. But I mean, it's fine for the interpretive center to have in place of the actual 90-foot stone that nobody really knew exactly what it looked like.
Yeah.
But there's been descriptions passed down for basically hundreds of years of what this stone looked like when it was on display.
The bookbindery?
The bookbinder, yes.
Yes, that is now the art school.
Yeah, so it was on display there. There's eyewitness accounts of descriptions of it being about 2 feet wide with rounded edges, rough on the other edges.
Flat on 2 sides, right?
Well, flat rounded. I mean, not rough. Is what I mean.
Rounded, and then kind of rough around the other sides.
Yeah, and about 2 feet wide by about 1.5 feet deep. And, the one that's on display there is like 2 inches, 3 inches deep, way different than what we probably should be led to believe. It would be nice if they would have displayed something that was a little closer to the eyewitness accounts, but whatever. I think they have the real 90-foot stone after this episode.
Yeah, that's quite the exploration that they do. And we touched on it last week, but we'll definitely go into that again. But
I'm so excited. That's that's the thing. And then they talked about doing some tests on it, had been done at Stonehenge that revealed ancient carvings that were no longer there for whatever reasons. They've been weathered away or whatever. Man, it would be so cool if they were able to find some of the stuff that had been chiseled onto that in the past that has been worn away since. The only problem is that from the original eyewitness accounts is that the initial carvings on the 90-foot stone were already kind of
were mostly gone.
Well, not when they pulled it out initially, but they were really faint as is. They weren't
they were
deeply
scratches.
carved. Yeah. So that's kind of a problem, but who knows? Technology nowadays, I don't put it past them to be able to find something extraordinary.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, who knows? Maybe we won't find anything. Maybe we will. The 2 initials that they stated before in the eyewitness accounts were there.
No, I don't know about that. I've read a lot about the 90-foot stone, and the initials that I had seen that were supposedly carved on it were J and M.
I'm sorry, but I trust our friend Doug here.
Well, guess who wrote the article where it said J and M?
Well, he said T and J, or T and N, or T and M. And if it's T and M, I've decided that Terry Matheson has been in on this the whole time, and he's actually way older than he says he is.
So Terry Matheson, not Charles Barkhouse, is Nicholas Flamel, the guy that can produce the elixir of life through the Philosopher's Stone and turn any metal to gold.
I'm just saying that they're working together, and they're probably in the same Harry Potter house.
Okay, so it's Charles Barkhouse and Terry Matheson are both working to this goal.
Yes.
Okay.
That's my new theory. I'm going to roll with it.
They must be a pair of Slytherins.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So then let's go ahead. Well, okay. So they're in the interpretive center. We know they're chatting about going back, which we've already touched on. And Doug says he's going to go ahead and make the call to go back. He says he doesn't think they actually got underneath the bookbindery before. And, Charles, he's real quick to agree. He's like, no, I don't think we did. So if he was impeding the process, I think he would have tried to keep them from going back.
I don't like the theory of Charles as some evil mastermind keeping the quest for the Oak Island treasure suppressed.
Okay, I don't like it, but it is fun. You cannot deny that. I don't think he's actually trying to keep them from it, but it's funny and fun.
It's fun to joke about, I suppose. I think Charles is the man.
Oh yeah, Charles is the man, no doubt. I mean, unless he put a fake stone down there, which I don't think he did.
You mean like 200 years ago?
No, like
right
before they went and then
Gotcha.
sprinkled dust all over it.
Yeah, like 100 years worth?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be fine. Anywho, Doug makes the phone call so they can go back, because it was 2 years ago that they had gone.
Yeah, they took Alex that time, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, well, they were unsuccessful that try, but they went back and searched a new part of the building, and bam, 90-foot stone. And spiders.
And lots of spiders.
Jack was not a fan. And here's a clip of part of the search.
There's a bunch of spider webs over here. There's spider webs everywhere. There's junk everywhere. You can tell no one's been down in this part of the basement for a really, really long time.
Hey guys, you seeing anything yet? Watch out for rats.
That's for sure. What was that? I think something just crawled back there.
Yeah, music sound a bit much like a horror movie down there. That was a pretty scary place.
A scary place that held some very important secrets.
That is true.
And it was totally worth the exploration.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it a little bit last week, but how I'm kind of a germaphobe, and you wouldn't think about catching me dead in a place like that, but I would be down there with those guys.
I know, but I would make sure you were down there with a mask and gloves.
Yeah, well,
wow.
I would have been thrilled. That was an exciting moment.
Definitely. And then when they find it and Doug starts looking at the different corners because he's looking for something specific.
Mm-hmm. There was specific eyewitness accounts of initials carved into the corner of the thing that was believed to be the 90-foot stone, back 100 years ago. Mm-hmm. And like I said earlier, J and M were the initials that I had read that were on there, but the person that reported seeing those initials could have been mistaken. It's 100 years ago, and they probably weren't super interested about writing some detailed report about, looking at this stone. It was just maybe an offhand remark or what, who knows? Mm-hmm. Who knows?
Apparently it was an employee or someone that had carved their initials into it, but I don't know. Looking closer at it, when we get that really close-up shot, I still think it looks more like a L-I-V.
So live?
How about some Roman numerals?
Ah, yeah, I guess.
Kind of like Roman numerals, which we end up seeing in Smith's Cove.
We do, but that's kind of a leap. But maybe, who knows?
Oh, well, typical Oak Island. There's all kinds of leaps around here. So I can leap to Roman numeral whatever.
Yeah, that's very true. So I don't know. I'm just really excited they have possession of what they believe it's the 90-foot stone. I think I'm on board. I think that's the 90-foot stone.
I do too. My gut says yes. I think my favorite part is when they get it out of there and take it back to the island.
Yeah, the guys are like, whoa, what's that? Mm-hmm. You don't think they were expecting them at all, huh? They just kind of showed up?
Yeah, because
there was a lot of people in that room gathered. I think they must have been given some kind of forewarning that, hey, something cool's coming in, but maybe not told what it was.
Yeah, I remember in a previous episode, or maybe it was like one of those before the digs, that Rick had said how it works is if you want a meeting called in the war room, you call a meeting and everybody
Shows
comes.
up. Yeah.
And that's just how it works. So I'm willing to bet that Doug called and said, okay, war room meeting. Everybody got there.
Let's get the Avengers assembled.
Yeah, exactly. The Avengers united. And because they look genuinely surprised. Like, if they knew what was coming, I don't know. I think they were genuinely surprised as to what they were bringing.
Doug and Jack pick up this giant rock, put it in front of Marty and Rick, and open it up. And then they don't say anything for a couple of seconds. They're just like, yeah, look at that. And Marty's like, oh, he like jumps right up, takes his glasses off, peers right in close to it. He's like, what am I looking at?
He's like, I don't get it. Is this a cruel joke? I don't understand. Why'd you put a rock on my table?
Yeah. Well, Doug beat around the bush and told him basically, it's a 90-foot stone without telling him it's a 90-foot stone. And then Rick, Marty's all of a sudden like, whoa, is this a 90-foot stone?
He's like, you mean where's all the writing?
Yeah.
He seemed very excited but surprised. And then we get a flash over of whose face? Like Dan?
Hensky?
Yeah. And he's like, huh?
Yeah, he was like, that got everybody's attention.
Oh, it sure did.
This might be the find of the find of finds. This is the most important thing to ever come out of the money pit.
It could be.
No, it is. Like, if it's the 90-foot stone and it has markings on it from the people that were originally there before Daniel McGinnis and his buddies found or, started digging, it's the most important thing.
Well, it's like Doug tells us, the reason it's so important is because it is the one thing, the one account, a communication we have from those that came before that was intentional.
Yeah.
Whether it was a misdirect or if it was directions on how to get there or whatever it is the one direct thing. It's the one letter to us of what's going on.
So if Charles Barkhouse is alive for centuries guarding this thing and misdirecting people, he wanted this thing found in hopes that it will misdirect them and keep them away from the treasure?
Nah. Charles is a good guy. I just like the story of him being a bad guy.
Do.
That's why his family's been on that shore forever protecting the treasure. Now it's time for it to be unearthed.
Okay. Nobody ever said Charles is a bad guy.
No.
If Charles has been tasked with keeping this secret for centuries, or his family or whatever, that's honorable.
It is.
But I don't think that's the case.
No, no.
Definitely not the case. Yeah, so
everybody's shocked, and
and
Marty,
amazed.
he talks about Stonehenge.
Yeah, I've already briefly touched on that earlier myself, but yeah, he mentions the technology used to uncover ancient carvings at Stonehenge that they all seem very impressed with. And then the Robert Clotworthy chimes in, back in 2002, the
very recently.
Yeah, they used this technology to find hidden markings on Stonehenge. Okay, 2002, 17 years ago now, guys.
In technology world, that's like archaic. I mean, I understand we're dealing with many, many, many years back, but in the technology realm, that's pretty old.
Yeah, well, we should have much better things 17 years later to detect whatever. So
in theory.
Yeah,
so hopefully that
I'm crossing my
works out
fingers that it really goes as good as can go.
I totally agree. So after everybody oohs and ahs and drools over the 90-foot stone.
I still am.
I know you are. There seems to be fairly significant, important things going on in one of the newly cleared lots, since they got all that underbrush taken care of and they can actually get into, what is it? Lot 24.
We finally got to hang out with Gary again, which was awesome. He's been kind of missing in action past couple episodes. I mean, he's been there, but it's not been heavily featured.
Yeah, not the same as before, but we have him, Peter, and Alex.
With the metal detector and some shovels, and they find some cool stuff. Clearing off some of these lots that were inaccessible has proven to be very valuable.
Totally agreed. The first thing, so what is the first thing they come across? They come across A ramrod?
A ramrod? An object used in the loading of muskets and early rifles?
Yeah. Potentially. That was the first hit. And then the second hole they started digging, they found bones. Don't know what they're from. And some pottery?
Some
Or
pottery.
Wait, how does Gary say it?
I don't know, but I love the way he says pottery. It sounds way more elegant than how I say pottery. Pottery?
Yeah, well, here's how he says it.
Oh, a pottery, piece of pottery.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, now we're getting interesting. A bone and a bit of blue glazed pottery, because this is the old stuff.
I wish I talked like him. So he gets a hit for a metal hit, and then they start digging. And yeah, like you said, he gets the bone, and then he pulls out blue glazed pottery.
Mm-hmm. And then there's water.
And then more pottery.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Unglazed.
Yeah, unglazed, which was interesting that there was a mix there. We see very high water tables as they're digging in there looking for stuff.
Yeah, then they're like, wait a second, let's call Uncle Rick over. And he comes and checks it out. And then we've got Laird needs to come out and, just all kind of rolls into a big excavation that he needs to do.
Yeah, I mean, they pulled out that handle was the metal thing, potentially like a door handle or latch of some kind. And then with the pottery, and then Gary goes on to say he felt big rocks in the bottom of the hole. And once they get Laird out there, he talks about delineating it. And when archaeologists are saying that they're interested, need to, create a grid, that means a lot of work with a very small shovel, a trowel.
Yeah, but it also means that there's something significant going on and something we really need to pay attention to.
I'm actually really excited about this new location.
It's something that's just been untouched before, so yeah, lots of brand new things can be brought out of it.
And then, of course, Laird makes the mistake of saying the word tunnel. And everybody's, excited. But as I'm looking at it, and he made quick work of that area with the trowel, I'm thinking back to the McGinnis Foundation and the foundation that was made with rocks. And it is done with large rocks and smaller ones to fill in. Could we be looking at another homestead type of area instead of a filled-in tunnel or trench or French drain or whatever?
I don't know. If he thought that, he probably would have said that. He said tunnel. He said the T word. Shaft. The S word. At least it wasn't the F word like was at that.
Oh my goodness!
At that former book bindery place.
Yeah, at the art school.
We didn't touch on that earlier. Oops.
Oopsie! It feels like a really a bad Easter egg.
Yeah, it's a bad joke.
Mm-hmm. And at one point they zoom in on it on accident.
Yeah, there's literally the F word on the wall. Oops.
Oopsie.
I think the editors do a good job usually, but that guy needs just at least a little talking to, probably.
Yeah, he just didn't. I mean, that's not something you think you need to look out for when you're editing.
Oops.
Oopsie.
Anyway, yeah, so no, tunnel, shaft, what is it? We'll find out soon.
Mm-hmm. Laird says now, because he believes it's important, time to apply for permits, yada, yada, yada. So we'll keep him busy and occupied while other things are going on. But he seems really excited about it.
Well,
I'm excited about it.
Potentially a huge discovery. Mm-hmm. They're looking for tunnels underneath the surface of Oak Island that weren't created by people searching on the money pit.
Tunnels?
On Oak Island? Yes.
Could it be?
Yes. It could be.
So exciting. Anyways, so Lot 24 definitely has a lot more to offer, and apparently it makes his toes tingle. That's one of my new favorite quotes, I've decided.
So this does make your toes tingle?
Yeah, absolutely. It does. It does.
So we have a new character on the island this episode to chat about.
A new character.
Travis Taylor.
Yes,
the guy with all the credentials.
Yes. Can I just say that Marty seemed so super impressed with him and everything he had to say, but not as impressed with, like, the Templar people, which I thought had some, good
Gretchen
things.
Cornwall
Yes.
last week. Yeah. I know. It seemed like they weren't super impressed with them and their theories about John the Baptist and using tithing to locate the treasure. And, sure, it's all far-fetched, but they seemed really taken by Travis. But he does have some education chops.
Yeah, he has a long list of credentials.
Yeah, you want to hear some?
List?
Electrical engineering degree, Auburn University. Physics degree, University of Alabama. PhD, optical science and engineering, University of Alabama. Mechanical and aerospace engineering, University of Alabama. Master of astronomy, University of Western Sydney. PhD, aerospace systems of engineering, University of Alabama. So
Too smart for his own good.
I could see why Marty
Why they'd be impressed.
is a little bit taken by him. That's it's kind of impressive resume.
It is an impressive resume, and he has some interesting kind of new ideas to bring to the table.
Yeah, they seem more far-fetched than the John the Baptist thing to me.
Not all of them. So they go into talking about the seismic. He mentioned that he has worked on a seismic program or has done seismic before. So it sounds like maybe he's going to be able to interpret the information that they have, which is a lot of it, maybe a different way. He talks about doing something called data fusion to help interpret the information, and says that a lot of what they sent him was a lot to do about nothing. Probably because they have all the information, not necessarily just the information from very particular areas that would be of interest, I would assume.
Yeah, but he wants to talk about his own theories about what could have happened on Oak Island and how things may have been hidden. And he goes into the whole star map theory and overlaying the constellation of Taurus over Oak Island and the nearby Apple Island, and connecting kind of the islands with the star map. And then they go on a field trip across the island with Gary, Jack, and Marty, and they find lots of big stone boulders in the areas that may be part of the star map. The only problem is, in my opinion, there's kind of like big boulders everywhere.
Well, we don't know. We haven't actually been on the island
Yeah,
itself.
I know, but it's like there's like lots of stones everywhere.
Those were very big stones, and one of them was that triangle that I know the exact location has been lost. He wants the GPS locations to see if maybe he can anchor his...
Yeah, it's cool to for him to be involved and, give his 2 cents and see if it can help them at all. But I don't know. It just seemed a little far-fetched to me. Like, hey, guess what? There's at least 5 big boulders or more in Nolan's Cross. Are those attached to his star map? They didn't look like it.
Attached to his
but
star
there's big
map.
boulders everywhere.
There is big boulders, but they are laid in particular patterns. I think it's interesting because that before they went out, he points out that a lot of people that had to do with this island, with being Masons, and everybody's looking
Right at
over
Charles.
at Charles, and
He's like, yep.
he's like, "Yup." And as he goes on to explaining, they're all swooning over him. They're like giving him the shifty eye, like, "Why aren't you more helpful? Why didn't you point this out?" It just kind of made me...
Well, that's where we go back to the conspiracy theory of Charles is trying to suppress all this and protect the secrets of Oak Island.
Maybe. Well, he talks about
Just kidding.
In that drawing, potentially Taurus being in it, and Jacob's ladder. And wasn't there a ladder, like what seemed to be a ladder buried underground in one of the excavations a long time ago? They thought they didn't know if it was a worker that dropped it.
Yeah, that was like, that's that side area that's been blocked off right next to the money pit. It's got like orange fencing around it.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
Yeah, and it had like a preserved ladder and stuff, but I think that's just a searcher shaft That's kind of just been
Maybe
blocked
it's Jacob's ladder. We don't know. Classic Oak Island.
off. Maybe the searcher was named Jacob.
Maybe. Maybe
a lot more
it
likely.
was. Well, you don't know. You don't know. None of us know. It's all kinds of crazy out there on the Elephant Island. I do like his idea about radon gas and looking for voids underneath based off of radon gas coming to the surface, because since there is enough radium potentially in the area, if they're finding areas with radon gas, that would have been trapped within a void or areas that are full with water. Maybe they'll be able to pinpoint some more locations. I think that's way less far-fetched than the star map, if you will.
Yeah, that could be a thing. I guess he's found radon gas on the moon using similar methods, or at least not found it. He didn't go there, but he is able to pinpoint where such things would be on the moon. And so if he can get to a place a little closer to home, like Oak Island, or maybe 100 to 200 feet underground, maybe that's a little more doable, to be able to prove.
We test for radon gas in our area in basements and split level homes often. Just because we have a higher dosage of radon in our soils around here. So
Higher concentration?
yes. So we test for the gas because it is completely surrounded by earth if it's in one of those types of basements. That way we know whether or not we need to increase ventilation, et cetera, et cetera. So to me, that seems like a totally practical way to look for these voids. That's assuming, though, that there is radium there on the island. Based off of the map he was showing, it looked like
Uranium?
uranium. What am I saying?
Radium?
Radium. Yeah, so apparently I'm making things up now. Assuming that is on the island, but based off of the map he showed, there were enough deposits in other areas that it's likely on the island. But it is Oak Island. Anything could happen or not. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, we will find out in the coming weeks. I don't think he's done with the show yet.
I don't.
Marty
think
was
so
much
either.
too infatuated with this guy.
Totally.
So he's got cred. So
I will give him that. He's got credit. I don't know. There's something, I'm not sure if I'm completely on board with him yet. I like parts of what he said, but
hey, you got
undecided.
You got to put your money where your mouth is. You got to give us some discoveries using your techniques, and then we'll be all in.
Well, I don't know. If you're going to say that, then we have to say he has already done that, because he said here where locations are going to be. They went out there and found stone markers. They said he was batting 1,000.
Not impressed. We'll see. Get Laird out there, clear the moss off the boulders. Find me some mason
markers.
triangles.
Yeah, what is that? Can they not clear these the moss and such, and do a good investigation of these boulders without Laird?
I don't know. It seems like they need Laird for that kind of stuff. Remember a few weeks ago we had the triangles on the rocks that were found on what was it, the lot 21 with the McGinnis Foundation, near the McGinnis Foundation.
Yeah.
I think there was some triangles found on boulders then, and they had to get Laird to come out and take a look. So before they can clear off all the boulders, and that's when they found the potential, like the ring bolt.
That's what I was just thinking about, the ring bolt and all that.
Yeah.
Whatever happened there in the series of boulders in a line?
I'm sure we will come back to that in the future. There's too much stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
When you have things like the 90-foot stone, when you have things like
U-shaped structure,
the other things that are just mysteries kind of get pushed to the back burner.
Yes.
We'll come back to it. I have no doubt.
Be interested to see what happens with Travis in the future. See if we see him again, and if he actually is able to produce anything of significant importance. That new person here, and then what do we see? What
Marty said? His a fresh perspective.
True.
From somebody that's got those kind of credentials, that's valuable.
It
So
is.
let's let him take a good look at it. You know, I'm skeptic of his involvement. I'm glad he's there. You know, it's always good to have a fresh set of eyes. So go for it, Travis. I'm behind you. I hope you help them uncover some or unlock some mysteries. If you don't, then, you know, you're just like other people that haven't been able to help them, but that's fine. You know, you're part of a TV show. Thank you for being entertainment, if nothing else.
Yes, but what entertainment and am I really looking forward to?
What's that?
A U-shaped structure in the next episode.
Heck yeah, baby. I know. Next week on Oak Island, U-shaped structure unearthed.
Yes. Well, they're driving out there and all the guys are standing out there with their coffee and he's like, get to work. And why is nobody go push the button, get things rolling.
Dave's like, you go push the button.
Right. Bunch of old guys hanging out, older gentlemen.
Oh, it's funny because they're kind of mostly supervising.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but it shows them go out there and like start doing some stuff. But I'm sure that's just, you know, for the camera and before the real crew gets there to really start digging. But I
When
mean,
something exciting comes up, they're gonna run out there.
well, yeah, they you know, they're there to get dirty too.
Well, they're
So
always dirty,
they're
so
always
yeah.
dirty, especially Rick. Rick's gonna be in the mud for this stuff.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, that's going to be really exciting. I'm really stoked about seeing that U-shaped structure, getting some eyes on it. Even if they did film this months ago and they already, you know, are far beyond that, you know, that's what we're wanting. That's what we're expecting. That's what we're excited for. And we're finally going to get it.
And then you get this little flash over at the sorter from cleaning the spoils, and who's standing over there? Jack.
Mr. Jack.
Yeah, I think that's his jam. Is
Yeah.
like sorting through spoils.
He gets to be the sorting supervisor.
Yeah, and then
And he doesn't have to get all caked with mud.
I know, I'm sure he's excited about that. Yeah. And Charles is standing there next to the conveyor belt. He's like, "Oh, what's that?" and just pulls something out.
Yeah, he finds something metal and just yoink.
Yeah. Oh, that was much easier.
Hey, you know what? That was Gary's job.
Right.
Thanks, Charles. But
Well, speaking of Gary, we see him pull up like a coin or something.
oh,
and
yeah, it has like a metal or a golden edge to it.
Yes.
Woo.
Is it a button or is it a coin?
I don't know. Is he going to do his gold dance finally on screen? Gary, you need to
I've
do it,
given
bud.
up. I don't think
I haven't given up.
I don't think he's got a gold dance.
Woo,
I think
woo, woo.
he should have done it a while ago if he actually had a gold dance.
I know. He should have done it with the gold button, the actual
Right?
first gold thing found on Oak Island, right?
Exactly. I totally agree.
But the brooch,
Right?
yeah. What else is going to find in Smith's Cove?
Right?
There's going to be a lot.
More historic artifacts, more friends of the cross.
Yes.
Yes.
Hopefully things like the cross.
Yes. Oh, that would be so awesome.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait. It's exciting and it's all coming soon. So we don't have to wait too long.
Yay. Can't wait.
Yep. And then we had an episode of a kind of surprise episode. I wasn't expecting a Behind the Dig with Maddie Blake to come on the following night.
Yeah, that was a surprise. We actually had just turned on the TV and we're like, what?
Yeah. Well, we're not going to discuss it much here, but that was a fun episode. And we had him, you know, getting a little bit of behind the scenes and some lowdown of different parts of what they're working on.
Yep.
He was showing a lot of rocks outside the interpretive center.
So many rocks. Classic Oak Island.
But yeah, it was good to see Maddie Blake get some screen time. I thought they had forgotten about him because there was no Behind the Dig before the episode, but it was a 2-hour episode.
It was a 2-hour episode. We didn't need an extra thing with Maddie.
Yeah.
So I think we'll survive. We'll be okay.
Yeah, well, we'll catch up. Maybe we'll have time to do more in-depth Maddie stuff if there's another Behind the Dig episode next week.
There probably will be, especially if it's just a typical length episode. So hopefully
sure.
we'll get something extra.
Okay. Well, do you have anything interesting happening this week, or what's going on with you?
Not a whole lot. Just work, thinking about Oak Island.
Thinking about other treasure hunts too?
Always thinking about other treasure hunts. What else do I think about?
We've been working a lot on that secret. Mm-hmm. Or the secret.
The secret.
Yeah. Still hoping to go out to New Orleans sometime this year. Now that it's 2019. Happy
Yeah.
New Year, everybody. Forgot to say that.
Yep. Happy New Year. Already 2019. Jeez.
Yeah, so we're hoping to do some of that and head out to Maine at some point as well.
Oh, hey, what about our clot-worthy moment?
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Well, maybe we should talk about our Blankenship moment from last week first.
We should. So which one ended up winning?
So if you remember, our Blankenship moments of the episode were either when he said, "It's like a 4-lane highway down here,"
Yes.
or there was a funny moment where he said, "Backwards and forward, ha ha."
Yes, about progress out there at the Cove.
The winner of the Blankenship moment of the episode for last week is...
Backward or forward?
All right, so it was the winner, and it received 57% of the vote.
Oh, that was my favorite.
Yeah, I think that was just so funny and sweet, and I don't typically think dude things are cute, but that was like a cute little moment, you know?
Yes, but also anytime I see a shot of them driving down to Smith's Cove, I think it's a 4-lane highway.
Yeah, it was just funny. I don't know. I just enjoyed having a little bit more Dan Blankenship on the last episode.
All right. Well, this time we are back to having our typical
Clot-worthy
clot-worthy moments.
And so...
There were some good contenders this time.
Yeah. If he just narrates normal things, it's just not that fun. Like
It's not as fun.
We need the could it be or manganese or what was another one?
A ramrod.
Yeah, well, that's from this episode. Yeah, so like those are the funny things that we need out of Robert Clotworthy to get a good Clotworthy moment of the episode. So we have some this week.
So we have
A ramrod? An object used in the loading of muskets and early rifles?
let's see here. We also have
A star map? One matching the constellation Taurus to points not only on Oak Island, but 2 neighboring islands?
I know you're a big fan of the star map. I bet you'll vote
I
for
like
that.
them both. They're great. They're just that's the kind of stuff I watch Oak Island for. That's kind
For
of
the
stuff,
narration.
Yeah, I just think it's so funny. Like it makes the show even more entertaining than it already was, and it was already very entertaining. So
Classic Oak Island.
classic Oak Island. All right, and before we do our wrap up of the show, I just want to. I said last episode that we were going to be reading some 5-star reviews that come through on our iTunes account.
Yes.
So if you want to be featured in an upcoming episode as a 5-star review, we are happy to read it on the air. And here is a nice one from somebody named Marco Comp. The title of it says, "Great Host Chemistry."
Ooh.
Yeah, it says, "I'm really enjoying the show and commentary, but wanted to comment that as an avid podcast listener, this married couple with kids host duo is kind of refreshing, fun, and sweet to listen to. Great show. Keep up the good work."
Aw.
How sweet is
Thanks.
that? That was
is
awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this one as well.
Yeah, hopefully our bickering and the reason that we never agree continues to be good entertainment.
Yeah, we agree on some things,
We agree on some things.
but we are a married couple, so
Oh, yes. A married couple who enjoys 90s music.
oh yeah. Well, we grew up in the 90s, right?
Well, yeah, and it's fun music.
Yeah.
Our poor children.
Yeah, well, whatever.
They put up with us. Well, thank you for that review. We greatly appreciate it. We got some other great feedback this week as well.
Yeah, and we did try to change it up a little bit in this episode and not kind of
Not give you the play-by-play.
Yeah, not so linear through the episode of this happened and this happened and this happened. We went more of a, hey, this happened at Smith's Cove. Hey, this happened looking for the 90-foot stone. And we kind of took all of those scenes and kind of compiled and just chatted about them rather than explain everything that happened scene by scene. Let us know if you like that or not. Mm-hmm. It was a little bit different, but I'm sure we kind of fell back into our scene by scene thing a little bit because that's kind of what we're used to. But like I said before, we're brand new at podcasting. This is our first real go at it. We're feeling more and more confident every episode, and we're enjoying what we're bringing to you guys. We just hope you guys are enjoying it in return.
Yes, and we've actually been brainstorming some really fun bonus content, if you will.
Yep.
A
and
little outside the box.
that might be coming to you pretty soon.
Oh, it's going to be fun. And
Yeah.
that's just it, guys. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, we won't give away what we're planning, but look for something in the next week or two that is just a bonus thing. It won't be tied to an episode, but it will be Oak Island related, and it will be fun. Like,
Yes.
funny, I think. Like,
Yes. Funny.
we hope.
And if not, that's unfortunate. I'm
Hey,
sure
it's
we're going to
bonus.
think it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's bonus. You know,
Yes.
if you don't like, if it's not your cup of tea, that's fine. Whatever.
That's fine.
But we will have fun doing it, and I think you will have fun listening to it.
Absolutely. We look forward to being able to finding a way to still give you the breakdown of the episodes and providing something maybe a little different and unique and fun for you guys.
Yeah, just a little commentary. Mm-hmm. You know, somebody else's perspective that might not be yours. So I think we did a little bit of that.
We did.
Yeah. So
Well, for this week, I guess we should go ahead and wrap up, huh?
let's wrap it up. Where can they find us on social media if they want to talk to us?
Well, first and foremost, you should head on over to Twitter at Oak Island Pod in order to weigh in on our Clotworthy moment.
Yeah, please go and vote for the Clotworthy moment. That's just a lot of fun. I'm glad we are able to do something like that every week.
Yes, we need more people to vote, though. So tell a friend and get them to vote. The other places you can find us are on Instagram and on Facebook at Oak Island Podcast.
And we're always happy to receive emails from people that are interested in communicating with us. You can write to us at oakislandpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, you can. So we look forward to hearing and continuing to connect with you guys.
Thanks, everybody, for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful week.
Until next time.
Could it be?